Hey guys, good morning. It's Robert Blackman, and welcome to another episode of Network Marketing 101. And as you know, I'm on my porch. Guys haven't been keeping up lately. This is what happens when you run over your iPhone with your wheelchair. And this has been a very interesting journey of trying to get we have insurance on this, so you call a company and they can come to your house and fix it. But what's interesting is even big corporations like AT&T, they screw stuff up. I had an iPhone 8 before. I believe this is at 11 or something. I don't know. You'd have to ask Sherry what it is. She's the detail person around here. Um, and so we call the guy. They come out, and for $29, they replace this. So he gets here and he says, your IEMI number doesn't match with this phone, so I cannot put it on. This was on Sunday. I mean, they come out to your house on a Sunday, which is cool. So this had happened on Thursday of last week. So now I'm 7 days with where I'm yet to flip the screen to type and read what people are saying. I've been like this crazy man for a week, and it's amazing to figure out how addicted you can become to this little small device, but how crucial. I mean, I can run, and I am running two businesses on one phone. So they don't match up. So we had to go to the AT&T store, spend an hour there. They had to update their records because I had my old phone's IEMI number. I believe that's how you're saying it correctly, on it. And so they had to put my new one. So it was just human error. Somebody had to hit a button, and then voila. So the guy's going to come out today, Thursday. It's 10 o'clock. He's going to be here between 11 and 1 today. So hopefully, I don't know. I've kind of enjoyed these coming out on the back porch and listening to the birds and doing my morning rants. So anyway, today's a very, very important subject. It's probably the most important subject matter, and I could talk hours. I could do a whole seminar, a whole weekend. Hell, I could do a week seminar on this stuff because I've lived it for 40 years. So the title is, let me go read what I wrote. The secret to becoming an entrepreneur and network marketer it should be you've always dreamed of becoming. So here's the deal, guys and gals. Being an entrepreneur and being a network marketer is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. It is the single hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. Owning a traditional business was the hardest thing I ever did in my life until I became a network marketer. And I can tell you story after story after story that that you would look at me and you go, why in the world how did you survive that? How are you still in the business after 40 years? And not everyone's made to be an entrepreneur, and there's nothing wrong with that. And when you talk about being either a traditional business owner or a network marketer or even an affiliate or internet marketer, you have to divide that up. You have to divide that cake, and you got to slice it in two. One's part-time people, and the other one is full-time people. And if you're married or you're living with someone, a significant other, and the two of you can share the expenses, and that makes your life a lot easier. And then you kind of fit your lifestyle around. If you make both of you make 40,000, you got taking in 80,000 or even 100,000 a year. You can't go qualify for $1 million house, so you don't have an $8,000 a month house payment. So you fit, your house or your mortgage is supposed to be 25%. They say the they sayers do. So if you bring in 10 grand, you're not supposed to bring your house payments or apartment's not supposed to be more than 2,500 a month. So then you roll out that you have all these other expenses and you have money left over for savings, you have it for your 401k, you have the money for your retirement and stocks and bonds, whatever you want to do. Most people today struggle at a job. And here's the transformation. And I'm going to tell you what the secret here is in a second, and how I've been able to stay in the game for 40 years. I haven't stayed in the game for 40 years because it's all been peaches and cream. It's all been cherry on the top. My story, and I think I'm going to write that book. I'm writing a book about my cancers and how I overcame them. And writing about being in a wheelchair, and I'm documenting how I'm walking in the pool now, and I'm going to walk again, and how I've overcome that. And I'm going to use that same intensity and that same mindset and that same belief in a dream and a goal to walk again as I have to be an entrepreneur for 40 years. I am wired differently, and I know that. And sometimes I look around me in the world and people that I talk to, and I'm just amazed at how easily they quit. And I talked to a friend of mine today who's at a telemarketing job, and he's saying, Robert, tell me your numbers. And I go, look, for every 100 people I call, I'll set 20 to 40 appointments, 5 to 10 of those, or 20 to 40 appointments, 10 to 20 of those will show up at the appointment. 5 to 10 of those over a 90-day period will sign up. So I'm getting a 5 to 10% conversion rate. And he goes, man, those are great numbers. Why don't most people do it? And I said, most people never get past the 10th phone call. Hell, 70% of the people we sell leads to never open up the lead file. How do we know this? We got a tracker. I just had 2 people today say, hey, could you, resend that link from December? I never opened them up and I'm ready to go now. Okay, that's the reality of the majority of people in this business is they fail to take daily consistent action. Why do they fail? Well, there's one school of thought, and there's one page of this book that says, well, you don't know the how-to, or the how-to doesn't matter until you know your reasons why. And if you're not taking daily consistent action, your reasons why you're doing this business are not big enough. And I totally believe in that. I think that we have a whole program where people can fill out their reasons why. People are all gun-ho, and I send them the form, and we never hear from them again. Crickets, they're gone. Why? Because we're asking them to tell us their commitment level, and they don't have one. They don't have a reason why. They don't know why they're doing the business, other than I hate my job. And that's not a reason to want to do network marketing or be an entrepreneur. It's the beginning of a reason, but it won't, as the captain of your ship, it won't get you through the storms. And I will tell you, I'm one hell of a great captain. When the crap's going down and the storm's here, you want to call me up and say, Robert, storm's hitting. We need you to come and man the ship. I'm that guy. Why am I that guy? I'm going to tell you a quick story, and this goes back to the age of 16. And unless you can emotionally attach an event or a reason why that's big enough, seems like a big event to you, an emotional event, you're never going to make it full time in any of these businesses that you're in. Never. I mean, just Google how many small businesses close in the first year, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. I'm not talking about network marketing. I'm talking about traditional business. You're going to find that 30% close like in the first 3 years, 50% close in the first 5 years, and like 70 to 80% close in 10 years. I've even heard Tony Robbins say it's like 5% are open. I mean, you got the Department of Labor, which I don't know how the Department of Labor knows everybody that goes out of business, but you can go to the Small Business Administration. They have numbers. But anyway, it's brutal numbers, okay? It's not Hall of Fame numbers, okay? It's not going to get you in the Hall of Fame if you're going to last for 10 years. You're going to be like batting 50 or 100. So the key to staying an entrepreneur and the key to staying a network marketer or internet marketer, you have to go back and you have to attach why you're doing what you're doing to an emotional event. And here's my emotional event, and maybe this can resonate with you, because the only reason I'm still sitting here today self-employed is because of this one emotional event that I always go back to in my mind. It's not only conscious, but it's subconscious. It's prevalent daily. Daily. It's not like I think about it on, every Christmas. I think about this event in my life every day. And when do I think about this event? When shit goes down. When stuff goes wrong, when I was overdrawn on my checking account. I remember one time we had the money coming in from one company and we were overdrawn and they paid us on a pay card. We were excited. It was payday. We get paid once a week. And we go in, and that particular company online required that we put in our driver's license and our legal documents of our business. So we, scrambled that day and did it. 4 hours later, we uploaded it, and it's going to take 2 to 3 business days to verify that your information is correct before they'll release the money. Then they came back and said, well, these documents don't match up to what we have. So then it took it was like 7 days. We couldn't go buy food. We couldn't buy gas, couldn't get the kids anything for school, grocery money. The kids were like, what's the matter? What's the matter? Why is mom crying? It's fine. It's okay. Well, it wasn't fine. We didn't have any money. Okay. There's about 3 times in my career in 40 years that I've gone back and got a job. And there's nothing wrong with having a job and being an entrepreneur at the same time. And one thing I dislike about the network marketing profession is they want you to think it's all or nothing, that you're a loser if somehow you don't, abandon all your friends, abandon your job, talk bad about your job. Hell, your job pays your bills, your light bill, your electricity, your food, your gas, the stuff you have to function on. So the event that happened to me when I was 16, my best friend, he was the catcher and I was the pitcher. I was a baseballer. Um, I will say my claim to fame was we were 1 game away from going to the Little League College World Series when I was 12. We lost 1-0 and I was the pitcher. And the first batter of the first inning of that game hit a home run. And I struck out like 12 people. I was just so pissed. And this was 1974, glory days, 74. The reason I remember that is because this was the time when we traveled up to Wisconsin, and you would stay in other people's homes. You didn't stay in hotels. And these were the people's homes of the teams that you were playing against. Their parents were there because their team was in there. They were hosting, that Little League team was hosting that. So it'd be like here in Norman, Oklahoma, if we were hosting the nationals or the regionals, we would have people come into our home that were playing in that league or playing in that tournament and feed us. And I remember sitting there as a 12-year-old, everybody got around the TV, one of those old box TVs where you had to walk up to it and turn the knobs. And that was when President Richard Nixon was resigning. And as a kid, and the parents were all over there, some of them were crying, one of them was laughing. And I remember looking around, and my mom and dad was just going, shh, don't do anything, don't say anything, and then we're going to talk about this later. So the reason I remember is 1974 is because Richard Nixon resigned as president. Okay, so that's a significant moment. But my moment happened at 16. Me and my best friend were playing catch in his front yard. It was the summertime. It was about 9 or 10 in the morning. We had practice that afternoon, and I was the pitcher. He was the catcher. Well, his dad pulls up in the driveway about 9 o'clock, which was unusual because he worked for Phillips 66 Petroleum, which was a big corporation in Bartlesville, top 100, corporation. My dad sold printing to Phillips. My dad was one of the few people on the baseball team, dads, who didn't work at Phillips. Everybody worked at Phillips, or you worked in a company that supported the Phillips employees. And my mom was a beautician, and my dad owned a printing company. Mom twisted the hair of everybody that were the executives' wives, and they would, she'd be down there hours. They'd tip her $50 back in the 70s and 80s, which was a ton of money. So mom and dad networked, and they knew everybody. They belonged to the chamber and the JCs and the Rotary Club. We went to everything, and it made them a lot of money. I mean, back in the 70s, they were making $80,000 to $100,000 a year together, and that was big money. That's like $400,000 or $500,000 right now. So his dad pulled up. I go, Craig, and he goes, I don't know. So Craig goes over to the car, and his dad gets out, looks, his eyes are all, eyeballs are sweating. And goes in the back seat and pulls out a box and tells his son, I'll talk to you later, and goes in. His wife meets him at the door. They embrace. He puts the box down, and they sob. And you got to understand, this gentleman was the coach of my baseball team. He was like my second dad to me. So I'm sitting there just sitting there looking, watching the events unfold, looking at Craig, looking at them, and he goes, man, you better go. So I get on my 10-speed, get back home. Found out that night at dinner, mom and dad told me that he had been let go at Phillips, and he was a year or two away from retirement. And he was met at the front door by security guards with a box of his stuff that they had gone through his desk. He had worked for them for like 35 or 36 years or 39. I don't remember the number, but it was significant his entire adult life. And they handed him his pink slip with all the instructions of who to contact at HR, what's going to happen, who you got to talk to. Here's your stuff. Well, he was shocked. And he goes, well, can I go inside and say goodbye to my friends? And they said no. And they go, we need your keys right now. We need your badge. And he goes, well, I've worked here for 30 some odd years. I mean, come on, you guys know me. And they just sit there stoic and say, we're sorry, Mr. So-and-so, but you must leave the parking lot or we will be forced to escort you back to your car. Treated like a vagabond, treated like a thief in the night. My best friend's dad. That really, really impacted me. It really impacted my best friend. He's a veterinarian, self-employed veterinarian right now, very successful back in Bartlesville. He didn't have any hair either. So whether it doesn't matter who you are, you can't beat the genes, the hair genes. So that event, I can close my eyes right now and I can see where I was standing in his front yard. I knew what the color of the glove I have, the smell of the leather. I can see the water sprinkler going on across the street. I can see him driving up in his gray Impala, four-door Impala. I can see his mom and her, as she was dressed. She was cooking something for Craig and I, and she had her little apron on. It's like I can smell it. I can smell the day. I can feel the emotion and the how scared I was. Like, what has just happened? And so as Yo-Yo barks in the backyard, in the background here, and so I can tell you that that is the type of event that you need, or you need to develop to keep you in the game as an entrepreneur, as a traditional business owner, as a network marketer, internet marketer, anything that has to do with you getting your butt up and doing something extra to go down 100% commission. I mean, if you own a traditional business, you may have yourself on salary, but if you don't have people that come in and turn the lights on and you're not in charge of stuff, eventually you're going to run out of money, run out of sales, and it's done. Okay. I held together a printing business for a number of years, gosh, 25, 30 years. Went through two bankruptcies, uh, and for my mom and dad. I leveraged everything I had because they filed bankruptcy. So then we used my good credit. I sold a car to make payroll. I borrowed money that I had no idea how I was going to pay back. I maxed out like this is back in the day where you just get a $1,000, $2,500 credit card. I maxed everything out for the company business. So I filed personal bankruptcy in my early 20s for the family printing business. I break off from my dad, and 7 years later, I file personal bankruptcy and go through a divorce. Okay. So you have to say, Rob, why don't you just kick the can and give it up and go get a job at Staples? Well, guess what? I've worked at Staples as a sales manager and made $45,000 a year and worked 60 hours a week on salary. I've done that. And if I'd stayed at Staples, I'd probably be at 55,000 a year now, maybe 60,000. Hell, maybe I'd be a regional manager at 80,000. But see, for me, I was anti-corporation. I was anti-cog, C-O-G. What do I mean by the cog? To me, a corporation moves like this. It's like a metal cog. And if you get in front of that cog and you try to hold it back, it's just going to eventually squish you. It's non-emotional about you. The cog has this higher ideal about how they need to run the company, and you need to do what you're told. That's not me. My best friend's dad was doing what he was told to do for 39 years, and he got slammed in the face. 5 years later, he's dead. Stress, depression. He spent his entire life for other people, built other people's dreams, gave up on his dream for a corporation that slapped him in the face the last day of his job. I said to myself at 16, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do that. Right? I'm not going to do that. And I haven't. I've done Frank Sinatra, baby. I've done it my way. I love that song. What is that Meatloaf song? I'll do anything for love, but I won't do that. Right? I'll do anything for money, but I won't work for a corporation ever again. Never will. I'm going to die as an entrepreneur. Hell, on my deathbed, I was making phone calls. I had this laptop right here in the hospital while chemo was dripping through my veins. My body was atrophying, lost all my hair on my face. My face blew up, got patches all over me, and I'm doing conference calls and I'm typing because I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a network marketing entrepreneur. The show must go on. It's on your shoulders. There's no backup plan for me. I got nobody behind me that's going to save me. If I jump in the water, I better know how to swim, or I better find a floaty, or I'm going to drown. And see, most people are not wired the way I am because they don't have a subset. They don't have a reason why that's big enough to carry them through being overdrafted for a week in the bank and just eating ramen noodles and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and turkey sandwiches. They can't do it because there's not an event that they can emotionally attach to that says, you know what, this may be bad, but it's not as bad as that. See what I'm saying? This may be bad right now, but what's the alternative? For me, the alternative was turning into my best friend's dad. I'd already seen a preview of what my future held if I worked for somebody else for 39 years. And it wasn't just Phillips. I mean, you just watch the news, right? Read the papers, get online, go to your favorite, media. If there is a favorite media that you have, it's everywhere. So the secret is having a trigger. And that trigger for me emotionally is to close my eyes and I'm playing catch with Craig. And I go, okay, I can make it through this. Because I know the alternative. I won't go do that. So I gotta do this. This has to work. It's going to work, regardless of what everybody around me and all my friends think and all my family members think. It doesn't matter what they think because they don't know me. They don't understand my commitment level. Is that I'm not only going to take it to the wall, I'm going through the wall as an entrepreneur. I'm not defined by my bank balance. I'm not defined by my payroll. I'm not defined by inventory. I'm not by the number of sales I'm in today. And most people insist on failure based on the month. How I spent it up, how much money came in, how hours you spent, how much money came there. And that's a pure way to set yourself up for failure because then once something happens, you're easily blown over. And you go on this emotional roller coaster. You're up, you're down, you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. And it's based upon money. It's not based upon excess of money, right? You don't get stressed out that you got too much money. I've known some people got stressed out that you're going to pay too much taxes, but they had money to pay the taxes. So today's message is very clear. Create a trigger. If you don't have one, if you can't go back in your life, like I was very fortunate. I call it fortunate. On my tombstone will be something about that event. He spent his entire life as an entrepreneur, and here's why. And I'd like to be able to have the story written on the back of the tombstone for people that go up and they read it. And other entrepreneurs who are going through the cemetery can read my story. This is how he did it. This is how he lived his life. And that's not for everybody. So you can't expect network marketers to everybody feel like you. I don't expect all of them to feel like me. I used to just, I could not understand why, don't you get it? And I go, no, don't you get it? I can't ever be overdrawn. I don't have anything on my credit cards to pay you. And if I pay you out of my checking account, I can't make my car payment on time. I'd go, screw the car payment. Your whole life is being controlled by a car payment? Are you kidding me? That's the level of your commitment? Is I'm going to be 10 days late and your credit score is going to drop from 700 to 680, and that's your life? Your entire life is based upon your credit score? Your bank balance? Are you kidding? Then you're not an entrepreneur, or you should wait until you get more money so you can be. And that's okay. Or maybe you should just be a part-time entrepreneur. I talk to people every day that make these great grandiose claims. And there's no daily consistent action. There's no daily consistent action because they don't believe in what they're doing. My friend was saying, how do you close 5 to 10 people out of 100? And I go, because I call 100. He goes, why doesn't everybody do this? I go, they don't get through the first 10 phone calls. Because 6 or 7 of them are voicemails, a couple of them are hang-ups on them, and one of them is like, yeah, I'll meet with you, and then they don't show you. So after 10 phone calls, they're blown out of the business. They're gone. Poof. Well, network marketing, it's the old Glengarry, Glen Ross, where Alec Baldwin said there, you know what? Yeah, sales, it's a tough racket. Being an entrepreneur, yeah, said at the bar, yeah, I tried that once. It's really tough. It really got me out of my comfort zone. Wife left me, lost my house, lost my car. I've had all those things happen. I'm still sitting here. How am I able to do it? If I can do it, why can't you do it? I just gave you the secret. Go create a trigger. If you don't have one now, go create one. Go create a reason why big enough so you'll get up and go and work through the pain. So emotionally, it's more powerful than the emotion you're feeling in the disappointment of your current business, business model, or internet business. That's it. If you don't have that emotional connection to an event, you're not going to make it big time. You won't survive. It'll kill you. It will literally physically kill you and emotionally. And it'll make you just want to run. Get away from it all. It'll be Southwest Airlines. Want to get away? Yeah, for $49, I'll fly anywhere one way out of here. Okay, that's the position it'll put you in, because there's not a foundation in your heart and in your mind that they connect and go, you know what? This is still better than working at Phillips. Selling your soul to somebody else, Rob. Building somebody else's dream. That's what I always say when things get tough. This is your dream, son. That's what I say to myself. This is your dream. What are you going to do about it? That's what I always say, guys, gals. When something happens that's negative, and after you get through the, oh crap, what am I going to do? This is what you say to yourself. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to quit, or am I going to move on? And that's just a choice. That's a choice I've made my entire adult life. Things just haven't been easy my entire life. Things have been very difficult my entire life. Why? Because this is difficult environment. This is the forest. This is the jungle and the Amazon. It's got my machete. That machete is H16. Phillips, 66. Best friends, dad, keep cutting down the forest. That's all I got. That's what's kept me in. I could tell you it's for the love of money, but it's not. I don't love money. I could tell you it's for recognition, but it's not. People say recognition is more important than money. Nah, I don't need any recognition. I give myself the recognition that I need. Okay, so if you're sitting around and saying, no, nobody ever recognizes how great I am or all the struggles and sacrifices I've made, you can't go there. You can't wait for anybody else's endorsement of what you're doing in order to make you see what I'm saying, how crazy that is that what's happening in today's environment is that we're always looking for exterior confirmation to validate who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. It's got to come from within. If you get accolades outside of that, it's just a bonus. But I wake up laying in bed going, I'm my own boss. What am I going to do today? How am I going to overcome this problem? And I go, well, I could go get a job. Then I got to fit my lifestyle into that job. and I'm going to build somebody else's dream because I gave up on my dream. I'm never giving up on my dream. I've already experienced one deathbed event, and I saw how I reacted, and it was incredible. There are people that are close to me that says, I wouldn't have made it, hadn't made everything that you went through. I don't know how you did it. I wouldn't have done what you did. That's okay. Not everyone has to be like that. And you got to realize that as a leader, there's little extra, there's little traffic on the extra mile. And I want you to write that down today. There's little traffic on the extra mile. And some of you are out there looking around for validation. Hey, where's everybody else at? Well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this because I'm alone. You're going to be all alone. Being all alone is what it's about as an entrepreneur. You're not going to get validation from your family, your spouses, your best friends, your girlfriend, boyfriend, your mom and dad, your coworkers. There's not going to be a single person in your life that's going to validate you. If you expect it, then you're setting yourself up for failure. That's not the secret. The secret is not getting everyone's approval around you. The secret is getting your approval. What are you willing to do when nobody else is willing to go get the job done? What's your trigger? What's your go-to reason why? You can do it as your family. I'm doing it for my family. No, those are great reasons. I'm doing it for my, when our kids were going to private school, gosh, we probably have paid $250,000 in private school. And there were some months that was like groceries or the private school payment today. Let's let the private school payment go back. It'll show back up in 2 or 3 days. By then, I'll have the money. Didn't like doing that. Had to do that if I wanted to eat. And that single event right there, to most people in the world today, I would say 95% of the people today, that event right there would say, well, they can't go to private school. We got to pull them into public because I can't go through the stress of sending payments back that I've been obligated to pay. And that's okay. There's nothing there's no right or wrong decision here. This is what I'm talking about today. It's understanding what it takes to be an entrepreneur for the rest of your life. 58 years old, I've been an entrepreneur for 40 years. I think I've got some wisdom today for you. What do you think? Very clear what you have to do. You got to bring it back in. What's the one event or a event or events around you that either happened in the past or you create that event right now? You don't have to have an age 16 aha moment like I had. I was just lucky. Some people call that it was a death sentence. I was unlucky because look at all the tragedies, the Greek tragedies I've gone through in my life. Filed bankruptcy a couple times, had companies close, had somebody embezzle $300,000 or $400,000 from me, chased him into bankruptcy court and got 25 grand. 2 years later, cars repoed. There's a price to be paid to be an entrepreneur. I've paid the price to be here today. That's why I'm on social media, because I'm sharing after my experience in the hospital of almost dying a few times. I said to myself that if I make it, God, I'm going to go out and I'm going to tell the world what it takes to be an entrepreneur, to be a network marketer. And that's why I do these dailies. I'm doing them every single day until the day I die, because I've got 40 years of information to share with you. 40 years. Robert, how do you come up with these subject lines? And how do you come up with, I couldn't do a video every day. I don't have enough content. Well, I have content. Well, guess what? What I always tell my kids, what does a smart man do? He learns from his own mistakes. What does a wise man do? He learns from the mistakes of others. So you're listening today, and I'm hoping that you're wise, and I'm hoping that you're going to learn from my mistakes. That's the beauty of what we have today in social media. It's free for me to share with you this information. It's free for you to learn it. And my hope and prayer is that you take this information and you go lead that life that you've always been afraid to go lead. That dream that you've had that you can't ever seem, you're always just grasping for it, and it's just that close. As soon as you get there, there's another trap door and another trap door. I should just quit. It's too much. American Express has a hitman out for me. They came and got my car. I should quit this crazy business I'm in. In some cases, that's proper to do that. You have to evaluate yourself. You either lower your expenses or you increase your income. So make more money, spend less money. Those are the only two alternatives that you have if you're in a financial situation to where you look up and say, you know, what are we going to do? Can we continue to live like this? And you have to be willing to, as an adult, look at that and say, I'm willing to continue to go for it, or I need to step back and go get a second job and do my little business on the side. And when it grows, and I can quit the second job, and if it continues to grow, I can quit my first job. And just be non-emotional about that part of it, as far as getting like boom, the vision, blinders on, boom. And that's what I've done. That's what I've done for the last 40 years, and that's what I'm going to do, Lord willing, for the next 40, because that's my choice. I've chosen this path of most resistance, or the path of what they call it, the road less traveled. Put it that way, the road less traveled. And there's a reason why there's little traffic on the extra mile, because it's tough as hell. It's the toughest thing I've ever done. But for me, down this way, to go to the other path. For my life, that I built somebody else's dream, and I was afraid to build mine. And I'm not the best business person. I'm not the best, most disciplined, organized person. I'm not even the best salesperson. I'm that guy in like the movie Braveheart. And does is he just looks at you, pulls it out, and uses that sword against you to kill you. I'm that guy. You can't kill me. Only I could kill myself. I don't give anybody permission to kill me but me. I don't give anybody permission to tell me how to make money but me. I don't need anybody else's validation or their approval to go be an entrepreneur, and neither should you. I have my own approval. I approve this message. I approve this life, because it's the only life that I know that I'm ever going to have. And I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to live it my way. And there are sacrifices and there are things that are cost to that. There's comfort to most people to go out and get a job and never have the stress of being an entrepreneur. And I respect that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Kudos to you for choosing a path that you like, because it's your life. It's not mine. I don't judge other people who come into my business and they quit the next day, or they turn product, they charge back. I think the biggest disservice that we do in network marketing, have done over the last 30 years in it, we had people having jobs. That's their comfort. That's their security. And you're wanting them to come build the business with you, and all you do is trash talk their other dream, their other lifestyle that they have. You can't do that, guys. You can't do it. You have to find a way. 95% of the people in network marketing are part-time. You got to find a way to cater your systems toward them, your products, your services, your online systems, your offline systems. You got to be able to tell them, hey, it's okay to make an extra $300 to $500 a month and work the business a couple days of the week. Yes, network marketing loves speed, but not everybody likes to go fast. Okay, but that is the truth. If you're going to go full-time in this business, you got to do what few are willing to do and are able to do long term. Why am I able to do what I do long term for 40 years? Because I got that trigger at age 16. You can go with this or you can go with that. Remember that old car commercial? You can go with this or you can go with that. It's a song to me. I've chosen to go that way, not this way. I go that way. Majority of the masses go this way. That's where the most of the people are, is this way. Hey, for my marketing, my product services. Okay, I sure develop and find leaders in my network marketing business, but I also understand there's going to be very few people like me in my business, if ever. Okay, I used to long for that. I used to have them, and then those people would bow up and go move their whole team somewhere else because they didn't like things were going, because they were like me. So I have almost found in this business that I really don't want to find other Robert Blackman. Even though I'm looking for other entrepreneurs like myself, if I find somebody like me, I know that person has enough strength to leave at a moment's notice in my business because they're tough as hell, because they have their own idea of success, and it usually won't agree with mine. Why? Because I'm an independent contractor, and so are they. So leaders are important, but leaders also put you to sleep in this business. Why? Because you think you've arrived. You think that $20,000 a month check or that $100,000 a month check will never go away. It will. Mine has. Because I sat back, I coasted. I took my foot off the pedal. I was going fast, and I go, you know what? I deserve to take 6 months off. You come back and, well, where did they go? Why is my check dropping half? Well, so and so left. Why? You would never return their phone calls. They got pissed at you. They just got pissed because of a phone call. Well, let me call them. They go, look, man, you're bigger than life, and we're going to do our own bigger than life thing over here. Thank you, and I've learned a lot from you, but it's time for me to carry on. That's the business too. That's why people don't stay in the business. So I can name names right now of people who are pioneers in marketing and network marketing, and they're now selling stuff on eBay and Amazon. They're walking down to Petco's and going to the clearance racks and looking at the products and seeing what's selling here and buying them at a discount and reselling them, because they don't want any human interaction with people, again, because they can't. They got too close to the fire and they got burned. It ripped their guts out. They didn't have an important enough trigger. They did, but they let that candle blow out. Don't let your candle blow out. Whatever your fire is, keep that fire in your belly. At age 18 or 58, you got to keep that close to you. So anyway, guys, that's the secret. Find an event like I had, or create an event today to help you go out and stay on your journey, because your journey is going to be different than mine. But stay on your journey, and you're going to need that emotional support from yourself. Stop looking for validation and emotional support from other people around you. Your upline, your downline, your crossline, your parents, the company, online gurus. People spend $1,000 with an online guru to go to their weekend event for what? To get validation that what they're doing is really what they need to be doing, and to gather some tidbits of some secrets. Secrets right here. Right here. What do they say? That if you're in hell, what do? You don't stop and look around, you keep on walking. Most people believe that when they're going through hell, that hell's going to last forever. And that's because they look around and they go, oh my God, how did I get here? And how do I never come back here again? I just go, you got to go through hell a few times, maybe dozens of times, to get to your, boom, 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 boom. And if you're not willing to go through hell for yourself, then go through hell for your employer. Either way, you got to go through hell, guys, to get to heaven. You got to do it. You got to make a choice, or do both. Okay? You can do it on your own, or you can do both until you get to that point. Hope this has been helpful, guys. Hope you enjoyed the backyard talk today, and let me know what I can do to help you grow your business. Thanks a lot, and you'll have a wonderful day today.